Okay. Okay. I think I was mute. So, hello everyone. Welcome back to the stream. I had to end the stream because I needed to go somewhere. So all is done. So I thought, like, why not? I finished the questionnaire and recorded while doing it and do the live stream also. And I was also planning to do a little bit of work on an asset which was on hold from a long time. I already posted some videos, so the next part of texturing, baking, and hand painted, version of it. So that was pending. So probably I will record that after. So let's get into it. So here is the questionnaire, basically, which I answered a little bit. So I'm going to continue with this. In which parts of 3D creation process do you think author has the most space for individual decision making? That is a really tough question. For example, if I'm working for a company, they want stuff to happen the way they are working in the process, but I will have autonomy on the creativity and the thought process, how I work. But still, it need to align with art director and how the art bible is developed. So I don't have too much of an autonomy, but I can do all this stuff on my personal work, so I have full freedom on that. Is it is it more in concept phase, modeling, texturing, or the part of the process? So again, this is all totally up to who the project I am working on and the client I'm working on, if it's a personal project or professional project. So autonomy totally depends on that. How much freedom I will get is totally based on the how much client gives me. So I would say if it's my personal, I have all the freedom from concept to modeling, texturing, and even rendering. However, I want to, if I want to change it in between or at the end or in the start. But if I'm working with a client, I will get everything approved at every stage. So concept art will be approved, modeling will be approved, texturing will be approved, and then in the end, how it will look in the game will also be approved. So I don't have much freedom in that phase. Are these phases of work where the author is strongly limited by the assignment or the production requirement? That is a good question. Basically, we are mostly limited by the production requirement, how the workflow it is, and how everything is developed. So assignment need to go by those workflows, those requirements, because they are giving the requirements, right? So they need stuff to happen that way. So we don't have a say in that. We have to provide the work how they want it. How do you think technical decisions are related to resulting aesthetics of model or scene? It The technical stuff is important in games, and many times it will drive how the model is shown in the game. So if it is not optimized, or if it's not authored properly, the textures and bakes and other stuff also, it will not look good. Like, imagine like you put wrong shader, or you put don't change the settings in the textures. Maybe you make the roughness on others, take them in as sRGB, that gonna make all the textures values not accurate to what we have made, so it's gonna look wrong in the game. So technical parameters do impact a lot of output in the game. So we have to take care of it, we need to be aware of it at least. So sixth, the influence of tools and technology. Main question: to what extent do you think technology and software influence the aesthetics of 3D creation? That is again a good question. Basically, not art is not limited by the tools. You can achieve most of the stuff in one 3D tools in others, but like I worked in 3ds Max, Maya, and Blender as well. So I can achieve similar result in all of those. But certain things which are limited by some certain tools, for example, when ZBrush was there and there was Mudbox also. But the amount of things you could achieve in ZBrush was extraordinary. Basically, there is no other tool basically compared to that. But basic level of sculpting I can do in Blender also. And I have a really good friend, Rohit, who do basically really crazy um, sculpts inside iPad, inside Nomad Sculpt. So majority of character artists won't have been able to do it inside ZBrush basically. So tool is just a tool, but sometimes you have tool have some features which only let you achieve certain stuff through that, right? So yeah, it might take a lot of time in others, but there are multiple mediums, so you have to pick tools to do that stuff. Like if you want to do painting, you need brushes to paint basically. Otherwise you could paint with sticks also, but what's the point? So that's why the tool helps with the art also. So do you think different tools software lead to different visual styles? I believe so, because different, if I'm talking about 3D renderings and even talk about real-time rendering and cell shaded stylized rendering, all these tools have different methods of rendering things. So some people want super realistic, calculated, global illumination, so they want to render it in cycles. Some people, architecture people, prefer V-Ray and the other rendering engines. Like for example, like the Unreal Engine I love because it's real time. It gives you best result for the quality it will provide in the viewport, so you don't have to wait for hours to just to render one image. That's why I am also in the real time industry, on game industry, because it's real time. Whatever you see in the viewport is what you see, but there are catch. You won't get that much detail or crisp detail as much you can get in the renderings. So yeah, so it does surely impact, and how it's basically set up also make it make an impact. In your opinion, are there any technologies that have fundamentally changed the form of contemporary 3D creations? I believe yes. I think ZBrush changed the sculpting industry a lot. It let you sculpt in really high detail while not eating all your system and not crashing that often. So that was really revolutionized the sculpting part. And Houdini, on the other hand, revolutionized the proceduralism. It was there from the start, but what Houdini did to the industry and how much it changed things is mind blowing. And Blender also have this. When it had the sculpting tools, when it brought geometry nodes, I had the same feeling, like best of both world, like this is the best thing, right? So now I'm hoping to for Blender to get layer based texturing and proper baking system, where we can bake all the different texture maps, and based on that we can have smart masks and smart layers like Substance Painter, for example. In your opinion, can software indirectly influence the character or appearance of the resulting model? Yes, surely it can, because what you can render inside ZBrush gonna look it. as much as it can quality it can achieve. It can't get super realistic more rendering in there. Like that's why people go to Marmoset and render all the stuff there, because it's easy to set up and it provide really good lighting setup and rendering capabilities. So each software have their own plus and minuses, and Blender have two render engines. Ev is there for real time, Cycle is for the retraced renderings. So all of them have their own, like, people complain about like Unreal scenes look like Unreal, right? So there are a bunch of videos people have made. So like game scenes look like games because those are games. So you can't make them look different way. But now people are challenging it. People are making super realistic scenes in there, which are hardly can tell it's a footage or a game scene. So yeah, so software capabilities always drive the output also. Have you ever encountered a certain tool influencing your own style of work? That is a tricky question, but I think it's a very simple question on the side also, because it did not influence my work. But if, as I answered, like I work with Unreal Engine and in real time, so my work do look gamish and painterly because I make it like look like that, like gloomy, painterly, like everything blending well together. So it do look like a painting, and a nice composition and mood. So that's what I focused on. So that's why it do influence to a certain extent. But style of work is again, like if you ask me to achieve the same in Ev, I might be able to, but I haven't tested it out, or in Unity or in Marmoset. I don't know if all of those have the same capabilities or similar type of settings to achieve the similar result what I have. But probably if I set it up, it will take a lot of time to set up all the tools I have in Unreal inside those. Maybe need time to learn also, but I never tested it out how much difference it will make. So technical limitations of and production conditions. Question: how do you think the technical limitation affect the form of 3D models and scenes? In games, we technical limitations are the only thing we have. We can't have super dense model. We can't have super high resolution textures. So we have to optimize a lot of things. So sometimes it do not look as good as unique assets because we have to use stylable textures, blend textures, and other things in environment. So it do drive some setbacks or cutoffs in many areas, so which we have to achieve using some other stuff. But then we have some techniques which make it work. But you can easily tell if we are using tellable textures, blend, or unique. You can tell. Is this more related to the performance of hardware, game engines, and other limits? Yes, it totally depends on the limitation of the engine and the hardware, because a long time back when I worked on my first phase of portfolio, I had a very small laptop and I could only make a limited amount of assets in the game scene and a limited amount of view. Basically, I could not make a level. It just should be like fixed camera. Although that also crashed a lot, so I have to optimize and make that many polygons only inside the scene so it don't crash basically. So if it's crashing, then I have to optimize the other stuff more, and maybe use simpler methods, not using complex shaders and FX or other things which can eat up the resources. How do you think artists react to these limitations? Actually, like everyone have to get habitual to these things because these are just so normal. I remember when we worked on PlayStation, build kit or development kit, we have a PlayStation where we run the game directly, or Xbox basically. We direct run the game directly. We have to play it every time. So if it's not optimized or it's not limited, it lag a lot. So imagine like we have the best PC to work on these stuff which we want to create for the games, and they are not able to run the stuff. So imagine a normal person with normal computer definitely won't be able to run it. So so it's a normal reaction, and also we many times get awed by the power of the computer we get to work on things. It's like, damn, that's a too much power. And because I had a small laptop and suddenly I got you know so big graphic card with two monitors and it was running smoothly. It's like it's a different feeling. Can limitations sometimes lead to new creative solutions? Yeah, I believe that's how the game industry have so many workflows and different things, because we have to find the workaround to the stuff which is eating up the RAM. That's why we have LODs, that's why we have billboards or imposters, and that's why we have MIPS in the textures, and that's why we have nanite now, or visualized geometries and virtual textures basically. So we can change the level of details by the distance, and that's basically one of the big thing in games. And whatever is not in the camera is not rendered, and whatever is at distance is getting a low resolution stuff. So that's basically all are the creative solutions for the limitations we had for the hardware. And now with nanite, as they are promising that you can render millions of polygons, and people tend to use millions of polygons, but soon they realize you have to optimize the nanite meshes also. So now, especially I work with vegetation, it's definitely not the case. You can't have too much polygons, and nanite have limitations also, so you have to optimize as per the nanite, like we used to do for the old pipelines. Do production requirement example optimization for games affect authors freedom? It does and it does not also, because we have some systems and some workflows which they might have some also which I don't know. So it do affect the freedom of putting as many details. Like for example, at one place I remember they had a different shader pipeline where they used masks to drive tileable textures and details on top of the model. Now you cannot vertex paint, you need to use masks. So now those masks you have to export from such painter to the game engine, and then game engine will author it based on those masks. It will apply different materials, but and you can't create those materials, you have to use whatever we have. So we have a like certain amount of materials which we need to use basically on all the assets we create. And for that we needed multiple UVs. We needed one for tiling, one for these grunges, and then one for lighting, and one for decals if you want to put decals on top of that. So like that student, we have to create 4 UV sets plus this whole workflow, so assets run well basically in the end. Asset look good, but again that's like very long process to create that thing, but it worked in the game, it worked for them. That's how we had to work basically. Sharing assets and communities. How do you think the sharing of assets tutorial workflow in online communities affect contemporary 3D creation? I think it helps the community make stuff similar way, and also it affects the output also. Imagine, for example, if I say like if we are using online libraries in our game, now all the asset packs are made with different intentions, right? and different qualities. Even if I upload a set pack online and then I make another one, it will be slightly improved or might have a different thought process given in there. So not all the asset packs are made with the same quality or same workflows. So if we use those, we have to change a lot of things, so it do not work well. So most of the companies, they decide to create everything from scratch. And also, like as a aspiring artist, when we used to look at this 3D work, we used to get really inspired, and we used to make 3D work out of 3D work using 3D render as a concept art. And our teacher always used to say, there might be mistakes, and when we're gonna use 3D artwork as a reference, we're gonna make more mistakes. So it's always to make good to make it from references, so at least the mistakes or the thought process we don't replicate, basically. And I believe in making unique stuffs, so let's not make other 3D work influence our 3D works and art style, basically. If you use realistic, you can make it as much as style, like however what is your working style, you can use it in there. So do communities encourage originally or lead to certain similarity of style? This is true to certain extent, which I saw a long time back. I had a mentor, like he was showing me sculpting of certain things, because that person had worked in stylized art for a long time. So when he was showing me the sculpts of different stuff, like how to sculpt different type of surfaces like wood, stone, rock, or concrete, metal, like all type of different stuff, when he was showcasing, it had that hint of the stylization in there. So I believe a mentor's art style do comes in when you receive feedback from them, whatever their thought process was, whatever the thing. So every other person thinks differently and have different idea. So if you ask for feedback online, you might get some general feedback same, but when you go into details of the feedback, when you get in there, it might differ a lot based on which type of community you ask. Like if you ask stylized community about realistic thing, you might not get that result. Like for same example, if you ask weapons feedback inside the material community, material art communication, they will give you in general material art thing, but how the weapon should be, how things should be, it's better to ask in those type of communities, basically. What role do tutorials play in shaping new creators? I believe tutorials are the best form of education you can receive online. There is abundance of free tutorials. I have so many on my channel also, where I showcase my workflows, what I learn and how I work every day, and I have used in the production. So that works. That is the best thing happened in here. And the funny thing is, the first 3D Smash tutorial I had got from 3D. I didn't know like tutorial means educational content. I thought that video is called tutorial, basically. So I did not search that later on. So I wish I would have searched. I would have found like an abundance of tutorial. I wouldn't have wasted money with these courses and degrees, and would have self studied. And if you need hand holding, I would say like learn the basics, and then get a mentor and gonna help you shape your career. I also provide mentorship, so I strongly support that form of education. And tutorials help build artists. It give you confidence, you learn new things. I continuously learn new stuff, and tutorials help me. And everyone need to learn how to learn and become self learn at one point, basically. To what extent do you think the use of ready made asset affect the originality of the resulting work? As I said, like all the online asset libraries or all the assets online are made with different thought process, different requirement, and different quality. And so it will not match to your requirement, your thought process, your art style. So max tournament, what you can do, you can take it as a base and then work on top of it to match your style. So I have seen when mega scans became free, a lot of people just jumped in and just got all the stuff, just put it in the scene and just say, oh, here's I'm environment artist. No, you just place some assets in the scene. So it's just see a level with a bunch of assets. It's don't have composition, no storytelling, no narration, nothing. So on that level it is not helpful. So what I always say, you take the thing and you make the changes on there. Like imagine you have maybe gray rocks. You, if you are making some Egyptian thing, you turn them yellowish rather than looking for some yellow rocks. You take the gray ones, author it on top of it, and put more details if you need, edge highlight if you want to add, use the map to add more details on top of that. So if you use mega scan, it should look like mega scans, right? And not everybody appreciate that, so they want to see you, how you sculpt, how you make stuff. So the handmade stuff always be similar to what you can create. Like I gave example of my mentor whose sculpts looked a bit stylized because that's what he did for majority of time. Do you think certain aesthetics or technology trends arise thanks to communities? I think yes, like social media took all these art style, different things to everybody who wanted to try something new stuff. That's what I want to try in my foliage also. So it's not just stick to realistic or sculpted style, but moving into some stylized, painterly, hand painted. I want to make paper like basically I want to try all the different art style I could, and I want to make those things. And I'm glad these online communities and the social media could bring those to me. And yeah, and if you see a really nice game called Tiny Glade, it's stylized, and we wouldn't been able to get those to us if we didn't know how to if we didn't have these social media and communities. So everybody have their own style, and sometimes they share it and we get to see it, and many people get inspired by it, and they like to try it at home on or in their own work. And while we are working on the games, we always look at similar style games, and all the art bibles have something similar in the art bible, and then we cross reference with the game and then art style. Imagine I'm working on old Japanese, I will look at Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotai as a reference, as a quality reference. I was like, yeah, how they have made stuff, so let's just take some things from there. So yeah, it surely drive a lot of results. Inspiration, reference, and originality. How do you think 3D creators balance inspiration from existing work and pursuit of originality? I'm not sure about other artists, but myself, I like to create something unique. Like imagine if you search a grenade or a AK-47 or something very generic like a knife or a chair or table, a certain which is very unique, you will find a lot of results popping up in your on art session, right? So what makes it different from the other people? So it could be either you experiment with art style, or you have a really unique idea with that AK-47 is made of normal pipes or handmade or 3D printed, so it have that plasticky, or like what is made of Lego, right? So that is still a unique and look different from all the other AK-47s in the library. Lot of people made this post-apocalyptic weapons, and you see it's taped with the duct tape, and then you see a lot of weapons just have the same bluish, grayish duct tape put all over the weapon without stating, okay, why it is there, what is it is holding there, okay, why they have to put the tape on top of it is just a decoration, right? So that type of stuff really make it look very generic. So make something unique, putting your own story, putting your own theme to it, make it really unique. I think I try to do it. And even when I participated in the online challenges, I took a concept which nobody have took, right? Because the most popular one, many people took the same thing. So now I'm competing not just in competition, but these 4 or 10 other people who picked the same concept art. So what will happen is I personally don't feel, I start to feel anxious basically after looking at other people also, and I will feel more bad if the similar concept art wins, and then that will be much better than me. That's what I thought in long time back, but that's what I will try still do, to that I will make something unique, not the same. No, additional. uh, at what point do you think inspiration turn into copying? The funny thing is, I have got into this controversy with awesome people of our community, which I always admired in the past. I made this North Kingdom environment, which is my best work till now, which was got a lot of appreciation when I put it there. It was very closely copied the concept art, so that was what I was trying to achieve. To basically, if you put concept art and the 3D render on top, it will match basically very closely. So that's what my challenge was. It's not easy to copy the concept art as close as possible. That's what I did. Every crack, everything, I tried to copy as much as possible to that, and I achieved a really good result. So when I tried to use that as a marketing material for my mentorship, that's and basically the people have seen that famous work, and then they basically alleged me to copy and pasting his work basically. So it's something like this. The people don't understand 3D art. They thought I put it into AI, and then made it look, put a filters on top of it, and then use that as mine. And even the person who made the concept art, I credited him. I always admired him, appreciated him. He's the art director. So I told him to you know that you're awesome, and he put basically also allegation on me that I stole his work basically. So that was really shameful. Like, people who understand things and who understand how stuff works are bringing down the community. So that just put me into that really gray area, like, should we use real people's work? Because this type of stuff can happen, and it's not a normal person who did it. It was a really influential person. And then on the other hand, they can keep crying about AI art, right? They're going to take their job. So I will be really comfortable using AI concept art than using other people's work now, because, or creating my own idea, because of these type of things. I don't want to get into that type of stuff again. Never. What role do references play in creating models and scene? Yeah, so it's like basically like when you have an idea, you can find references and real world images to create something. But if you don't have an idea, I would say let's just start with some idea and concept art. So it is like the main thing. Even in the games, we have concept artists who make the concepts, and we have to follow it to drive in general the look and feel of the scenes and the models. So it do drive a lot of things in there. So once you get hang of it, you have to drive certain aspects of the model, of pre-created 3D models or concept arts of other objects into your assets. So I think it's really key thing when you're working with concept art in the games. But for your personal work, even if you're using reference, that's sometimes we try to achieve as close as possible, because it's a challenge to achieve as realistic quality as close as possible to the real world reference, if you're in the realistic style. And if you work with stylization, how you bring that into stylization is also a challenge. So it play a really crucial role in my opinion. Do you think it is more difficult to determine the boundary of originality in digital creation than in other field? Yeah, that is a big question because so many time people, plagiarism, do steal the 3D assets and put it in their portfolio. Now imagine someone take a AK-47 and just slap their logo on top of it, fix a bit of thing, and just use in the portfolio. Who gonna know if it's original or not? Now AI is getting into everything. Now people just put an image in there and they just got a 3D model out of it, and they just slap some good textures on top of it. Maybe they know how to do texturing, or maybe they take smart materials, slap on top of it, and auto process the mesh and UVs. And maybe they don't show the mesh and UVs, but they show the good textures and good model. Then how will we know if it's a AI generated if person don't tell us? So it's really difficult to know now with the AI. Like similarly, like it's difficult to tell if it's a AI generated image or a real world image now. So this is similar happening in the 3D models also. So yeah, scary world. Do you think audience can recognize whether the work is original? I don't think so. I don't think anybody care about the art style and the originality of the work other than artists, because nobody ever asked me. But some people have seen the North Kingdom arches and the other scene which nobody else have created those. I have those unique in my portfolio, so people recognize me from those work, and they know I have created it. So like similarly I got into that controversy from the original concept artist, because people knew that person have created that art, and because of that art they reached out to me and they know, oh, this work look like his work, so I stole it, right? And it got a lot of love, and people actually accuse, say, like, you did not get popularity or love because you created it or it's something nice. You only got it because it's his work, basically you copied. So nobody cares about it. Only artists care about the originality and how it looks. Basically, gamers just want to look at good graphics and just play the game. New technologies and future of authorship. How do you think new technologies such as generative tools and artificial intelligence affect the issue of authorship in 3D creation? One thing which I think US government made clear that you cannot copyright the generative work if it's images or any other generative. So similarly it applies to models also. So I think so you can't copyright it normally, and when people use it in their work, it's hard to tell. It is because of some of the style which AI models create and some type of issues which more AI models have. You can tell it AI generated. It's because I'm an artist and I have that eye of telling how it is, but not everybody, normal person don't know how what all those things are. And I notice in advertisement and all the other things I see in boards, hoardings, in ads, I see it popping up and coming up all the areas, like in one of the airport, the toilets have the male and female, and post the signs, there were like images were made by AI, which was like, I was like, come on, what is this? And there are like really unique one I have seen in some airports. I don't remember which airport was it, but it was something like the car is broken down, and on ladies side it was woman who is fixing the car by opening the boot, looking inside the car, and on the other side it was a man. So that is a creativity, and it was a photograph basically, not AI generated slop. So it it is really an issue, and people are using and bombarding the libraries with 3D models or online portfolios. It's making everything look saturated. People are gonna get tired of looking at models, and half of the time just gonna think, is it real or AI generated? So yes, it's an issue. Do you see this technology more as a tool or as a fundamental change in the creative process? I think those are still tool to make the process faster. But if it is made on the blood and sweat of other artists' work, then it is a stolen technology, which without any credit to the artist. I'm stand strongly against unethical AIs who stole all the artwork or images from the internet, including mine, and trained this model to create art and then sell it for profit, and we are not getting a cut of profit in there. So I'm strongly against those type of AIs. But there are AIs which can make my work easier. I have shared recently, I made a tool for this online 3D viewer, converted into Windows tool using an AI. It wouldn't have possible if I wouldn't have that. So in that sense, it is a blessing. But unethical use of AI to just to see it as profit making is a really dark, and the company think they can have less artists, have more AI, can make magically games happen. Is not true. Not true. It's a tool and a really shitty one. Do you think these tools are challenging the role of author? Definitely it is. Like as I said, like it's difficult to first of all figure out how, if the person have made it or not. We didn't have to think about it some time ago, but now we have to think about it and find out like if that person have made it or not. And also the second thing is challenging the whole existential, thing of an artist. Does this matter or not? Because we thought AI gonna replace the boring stuff from the artist, like retopology, UVs and stuff like that. But it took the good part, like modeling, sculpting and all that stuff, and left the boring part to us. Just like retopology that said UV and bake the textures or maybe retexture it. So there is not a good part which AI brought into this process. So it do not help me with the art style because it's a random stuff. Like how much I'm not a typist, I'm an artist. I'm rather created from scratch than typing it 100 times and getting random results basically. Do you think they can influence the way we will understand originality of a digital creation in the future? Mm, I think maybe because when I was doing the programming of this tool, it explained me why I'm getting this error and how can I fix it. So at least I'm learning something new. Maybe for 3D also when they will do the same, why it optimized certain part, how it can be optimized and why it should be optimized. Similarly, how I give feedback to the young artists who have a mentorship with me or my student as all my students. So like here, these edges you can remove because it does not add to the shapes of it. It will not make any impact if we remove it. Or these certain polygons, these we can bake in the high poly. We don't need to add these polygons to make these certain shapes, stuff like that. Or even in the texturing, when we look, oh, say this rust and this dirt look illogical because dirt fall from top and can accumulate here, rust can accumulate this way, or a grime. So if you can give that type of feedback when we look at it, I believe that was like much helpful. And I think some people working on this type of tool where you upload the screenshot of your asset and can tell you what is wrong or what is not and give you feedback, so that will be like most welcome than just creating random stuff. OSS and its role in perception of professionalism. Open source software, is it? Yeah. So, how do you think open source software shapes the perception of professionalism of 3D creation? You know, it's a tough question because people need to know the value of it, because people did not care about Blender long time ago. First of all, it was difficult to learn and use. Second, it was free, and people don't value free things. It happened to me. I have given free training to people. People don't think or know how valuable it is, but they will go for the courses, really expensive courses by these big universities. They're ready to give that much money for a piece of paper and no actual knowledge they gain from it. So it's a similar way for the tools. I think people think the free tool means it's not good enough, right? So that type of thing which was holding all these tools back, it is true to majority of the places where all the free tools are limiting, because these are passionate people who are working on some certain stuff in their free time. So that's how Blender is surviving, because they ask for donation and then you get the donation and they make the tools and they made it so awesome. Now everybody using it. So that is a proof of concept that open source softwares can be great. Free software can be awesome and used by a lot of people. And similarly, there was like Plant Factory which I used. It was bought by Bentley Softwares from Eon Softwares, right? So they bought it and said like it will no longer be developed. I don't know what happened to development team. Are they developing it for internal? Are they going to polish it? But like if they would have made the code open source, like you do whatever you want, I believe Plant Factory would have been became like so much awesome, and people from the community would have kept it alive. So it died. So open source community at least can help with that sense. That's why I love about Blender, and I can develop for Blender. I can make features, and if a company made something, they can release it for that for everybody to use also. So I love open source community and softwares and what they stand for, and not everybody understand it on honestly, and majority of the softwares are there to earn money and make profit, so they would not like to make it open source as well. Do you think the use software has any influence on how the work of a 3D creator is perceived? If I understand the question right, if use of certain software have any influence over the work of an artist, how it is perceived, that is a good question. Because like again, if someone create sculpts really good ones in ZBrush, many times people say yeah, ZBrush can achieve stuff, but you can achieve better with that. But my friend who is a character artist and I made really top notch sculpt in Nomad Sculpt, now beat that, you know, in a tablet. So it do add a influence, like oh, well, they chose the hard way, right? It's a similar way, making a brush painting with a stick. A person decided to make all the thing. And I remember there was one a painting I saw inside a museum. It was like a big brush stroke. Basically, someone took a big brush and just made a big stroke in the on a big paper. But actually, that was a pencil sketch, and was it a pencil sketch or a single string brush, thin brush? Basically, they used to create this big brush stroke. That level of craziness people have. So tool is just tool, and it depends on how one person, how they want the work to be perceived. So now it became special because they have used the hard way of doing stuff and showcasing that this tool can also get the job done. It will just take time. So that's what make that artwork special. And this is how that is how it is perceived. Like someone make foliage using blender or using speed tree is you know definitely perceived like, okay, they might have used Houdini for that. It's not possible to create normally otherwise. So something like that. Have you ever encountered Blender or other open source software being perceived as a less professional tool? Honestly, all the time. People still tell me, oh, Blender is not professional. Nobody use it. It's not good enough, and nobody use it. It's not good to use inside you know uh, inside the professional setting. But I'm using it from 2018, I believe, and I got so many projects for it. So we can't help it, we can't change other people's thought, and it is perceived as low level because big companies are habitual to use these tools. They don't want to switch, so they just complain and they just make excuses of not switching. I switched to Blender. It's free. I don't need to pay money to someone who is so rigid to change. Autodesk had so much money, they could have made the product so much better, then Blender wouldn't have existed ever. But they never chose to fix the things which were like really outdated for years. And then Blender came in and it just caught up really, really quickly. Now people are expecting them to make all the features they have in Autodesk and softwares in this tiny tool, which have a fraction of their income. Join the funding, fund them, support them, and donate to Blender if you want to see that happening than complaining basically. And that's why Blender Foundation, like they said, even 2% people donate will be great. People use Blender for free, but nobody pays. But here they have to pay for Max and Maya and other 3D tools which they have used, and they can't get out of it. So that's what the tactics are. You have to go through this hard process of getting out of this 3D trap of tools so you can be freedom. I was using SpeedTree, but then there was license issues in some of the projects. So I learned Plant Factory, which got free in 2014, I think. 2024, sorry. So I was totally free. So I use Plant Factory. Now I suggest everyone to use Plant Factory. And when Plant Factory was not free in 2023, I used Geometry Nodes to create all the plants because I could not use SpeedTree. And I was so hesitant. I was like, oh no, it will make the life easier. I did not know anything about Geometry Nodes, but I made all those plants. It took time, but I learned something new. Now I have that in my arsenal. And now I tell people, no, I'm not going to use SpeedTree. I will use Plant Factory or Geometry Nodes because I would strongly suggest to people to get into it. I want people to use Blender and support it and make it better. And if they really want it to become industry standard, they should donate to Blender Foundation. Okay, so last. Do you think that today creators working in open source tool can achieve the same result as those using commercial softwares? I can bet on my life, yes. I started with 3ds Max, then I got into Maya, then I came back to 3ds Max when I was in architecture, then I came back to Maya when I was in advertisement. Then I worked on both of those simultaneously when I was in Dhruva, basically. So we worked on some projects on Maya, some projects on 3ds Max. And that's when I started learning Blender also, where everybody stopped me from using it. It's like, who use Blender? Oh, it's ugly, it's not good. But then I made something and everybody said, oh, that look good. But then I never looked back. And then I got really some projects and the client said, we have better artists than you. I said, oops. But they say, Blender, nobody else know, so we want you to work on something in Blender only. So win-win. And see, you see any job posting now for 3D artists, 3D environment artists, like that's the mostly jobs I see. If you don't see Blender in it, it's not, it's more common now. Like if you ask me, like 10 years ago, Blender didn't even existed. Even 5 years ago, Blender did not even existed in the job descriptions. Now it is the primary tool in many. Are you getting it? Like, so how awesome it is, like how much I supported, all the opportunities I got afterward because of the Blender. So it is a awesome tool. And I, all of my mentees, all of my students, and all the people, interns, everybody who work with me, I teach them Blender because we work with that full time. And ask, tell them people how awesome it is, you know. And you know what happens in many things is where was I? It is not what companies make it industry standard, it's the people who make it industry standard. Like nobody used Blender before, now many people are using it. So the more people gonna use it, the more pipelines gonna become. And I would say, like, if studio is gonna share the plugins and the pipeline tools they have made for the studio openly, like Ubisoft shared there for the rabbits they have made, like that, if studio use it and other people use those technologies to export to Unreal and other stuff, gonna change a lot of things. So yeah, just come in, use Blender, use open source tools. It's really warm in here, you know, and the community is awesome and supportive. So yeah, not everybody picks to, but it's like small hard pain to go through for a good fulfill. I used all the other tools like Max and Maya a lot of time. I was really hesitant to switch, but now I don't even want to open them because those are very limiting softwares. And if you have argument, oh, this software can do this and this cannot, you can come to me and share what your tool can do, and I will show you what Blender can do it also. I don't do animation, so modeling and unwrapping and that side of things mainly we can talk. So yeah, so that was a questionnaire from my friend, which was awesome. I have completed. So basically what I'm gonna send it to her, and also I'm gonna, you know, make short videos out of it, as I was saying. So here is the we go full chat cam basically. Wait, so yeah, so there is no message, so nobody's watching maybe, so but it's totally fine. So let's say viewer activity, uh maybe there was 4 views, nice. So there were people in between and then left. Okay, so it's totally fine, it's totally fine. I'm doing it for me, basically. So, so what I'm gonna do, I'm going to save this document and close all the stuff also. So yeah, so for the people who know, like, here's my website. I provide mentorship. I have a YouTube channel with this tutorial, so you can have You can read the testimonials here on the top mid. So you can go to my top mid page, and here you can see all the services we have. You can join our Discord server. You can have a portfolio review if you need, and here are the testimonials which you can see. And if you need one-on-one support and mentorship, then I'm always here for that support. So whether you want to learn a workflow or want to navigate through your career and you need something in life, I'm always here. So do consider joining up. And I also have a Patreon now, so if you can support me, want to support me with a little bit monthly things, you can support me with this. I'm going to release some references, some tutorials, some tools, and all the stuff before it comes to the YouTube, or might not even come there. So you will get this. So if you are a Ngon supporter, you will get a one-on-one call also every month, maybe more. You will be added to us, personal chat groups where you can ask me anything. Okay. So yeah. So see, if you decide to support me, I really appreciate. So go check out my website, and yeah, pure awesomeness always. So here is my blender. There is high poly and there is low poly. So basically what I wanted to bake these details, and then I wanted to recreate the honeycomb thing. So what I'm gonna do, I will simply, this is good, this is good, and we have a large leaf and small leaf, so we can keep them here. Okay, and this is honeycomb, is which is fine too, but I think we need to shrink wrap it better. It does not work in that way, so it's like much better this way. Okay, so we can move things around. Let's just keep it. Okay, now we have these things. Now we can do two things. We can if you give me a second, I will open up the puref file. And just a second. So here is the honeycomb plant. Basically this is how it look. We can make it look like this. And where do I have this one? Okay, for the this drooling thingy, I think I made that for that. And this is the honeycomb basically on that, and then this is how the plant look like. So what we're gonna do, I will just go ahead and bake the stuff first. Okay, let's bake the things first, and then we use the maps from there to things. So let me see if I have X normal, yes or no. So here is X normal, which was not there. So I'm gonna download it. Install it, so then we can bake it. We can bake it inside here also, but I didn't think we have all the maps. I'm waiting for, there was a different there was a plugin which was like X normal blender plugin also, but does not work. So I will check what does not work, and maybe we can use AI for that. I think if I search here X normal blender, So this is actionable inside Blender. There is this, so but it does not. Let's see if the website is still online. No, so I think this developer no longer is is active, and it's also 13 years ago. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I will check it out. We can do it afterward as well, and it's a 7, so I can download it and I can install it in Blender as well. So I can bring it here, add-ons. I will install this one. I'll see what error it gives. So it installed. Let's see, external integration. This alpha and preferences. It's not coming. So this is where it will be showing big map using X normal. What it says. I think there is, it's alpha. I think because of that. And do we have, and how to use it basically, and that fix the exporter and API change. So there is only one release, and if I show you the profile of the guy, that this is something like that I've made. So he made a lot of commits. Damn, this here also is. Let's see what he's working on. It's a private repository. Yeah, something is doing in private. So he have, oh damn, he have a lot of repositories. That's cool. But if we look at this, I install the add-on by download repo, the add-on settings give add-on paths. So yeah, so you see it is in the preference, it don't let me. Okay, so now I show you something which we can do in here. I will open up Claude AI, which I use to do the things, and I believe is awesome. And if I open up, I can use you know so what you can do, this is one, and there's other thing you can do inside. You can open up the installation folder inside MS Code. I can show you. We'll go to in the app data in Blender. We are in 4.5. I can't show you because there's a lot of stuff in here, but so here you see we have this Blender thing, right? So it have, this is cache file, and git is not needed, it does not matter. These two matters more. So what I can do, I can open this inside here also, or I can open terminal and I can say here I code dot, so it opens up MS Code here. Okay, and this is in it, and it's made for Blender 2.6, and I have here, you can click this button on top, right? It opens up, you can sign up using the thing. So what I can say, okay, here I can also put both of the scripts here. Okay, I can say, so here are the Blender old Blender, but it does not Okay, 4.5. Kindly edit all the edit main scripts with the changes, so it on current and do the and work also. So I'm not sure, like I'm not going to read the script because I can read script what it's doing, if there is settings like see so stuff like that, but I'm not going to do things, so but I'm going to just run, right? So it see it's reading all init script. There are a lot of lines. How many lines of codes are there? It's 800. Okay, so it's working on init.py for now. It gonna here see it's suggesting the changes now, so you can let it do its stuff. Basically you're gonna go through the whole script and gonna make changes, and if you go hover up on this, it can tell you how much you have used for your monthly uses. Basically I was never able to use it fully, but it's on 27th March it's gonna reset basically in few days, so maybe I should utilize it fully. So I would say you know I would say enable or approve enable, yeah. So let's hello keep. Okay, so it made the changes. Now it allow, so it's gonna, so it now it's explained basically what it changed basically. So it changes in Unity and Pivot compiled without syntax error, so it change the thing. So let's just try without that's what I'm gonna do on cloud also. So when you click on system here on the thumbnail, system reload script, let it reload. So now it reloaded all the script. Now I can go to X normal. So does it does did not give. So that's how I basically did. So I'm gonna spend some time basically, maybe ask Claude to rewrite the scripts. I can show you how basically. So what I'm gonna do, I will take these, both of these, like I can delete this one also. I can select these two, drag and drop into Claude, like both are there, and I'm going to copy this, and I can write the same thing. So here is the script for Blender external bridge for the old Blender, but does not work in the latest. I'm using so kindly I will say rewrite, kindly rewrite the scripts or club them both into single script if needed for current version, and it work correctly. Okay, check all the functions and requirements inside the script and rewrite me the add-on for latest Blender. Okay, and let it do its thing. So it's a reading both of the things, and then it will work on the stuff, and once it's done we'll do it. Okay, so let's just for now let's continue normally. So I'll take these four of these which are placed on, and I will export as fbx to desktop honey plant what we call low poly and a mesh selected object. Let me select these high poly. I'll call it high poly. We have exported both of the meshes, and I will fire up X normal. Here we have, so we can do the high poly, we can say add meshes, and same desktop we have high poly. Then if we have texture, we can put base texture to bake, and sometimes the normal give issue, and you can say average normals also. Okay, so low poly, same thing, is add meshes. We take the low poly, that's it. And in tool we can do ray distance calculator, and we say okay, go. Okay, this have high poly have so have n-gons. Okay, so that we need to fix basically. So I will isolate, select this, and we can select and select by trait and face by sides, and we say more than 4, and if it's selected we press Ctrl T to triangulate, and select this one also and do the same thing, select by trait, face by sides greater than this, and did not select anything, it will show up here. Let's see if where this issue is. Okay, did not select anything. If you can press grab and see if it have, let's see if where's the issue coming. So it's also not in the high poly, so it is not high poly, so it is low poly. Okay, you can select all of it, and I can say select by trait, faces by sides greater. So here this one have physically stuff, so I can press Ctrl T maybe, or I can simply Ctrl T and Alt J, so to make it quad again also. So I think this is fine, and I can shade smooth, and let's try. Okay, weighted normals, and rest is good. I've selected, I'll say export as low poly. Now let's and do the same thing again. Now tools, ray, let's go, and yeah, it's working. Let it run for 5-10 seconds. It's gonna get these values, and you can stop it after that, and you say copy results and close. In the baking ones, you can select how much. In the start, I would suggest do the small one, and I will just do it at desktop, honey plant, and xn for x normal, and we say honey plant, and you can do anything. I will say png and save. Okay, and you just say generate map. Oh, we did not unwrap, I think, so we have them selected. Select it. I can apply shrink wrap, marks seam, leaves are okay, and this one will be a little bit challenging to unwrap, but we can try. Mark seam, and let's apply this also. Now if we select all of them and say unwrap, what happened? I think there is scale. Yep. We glad we apply rotation scale. High poly don't have any. Unwrap. Now it is much better. And yeah, if this is if bugging, so we can open this up more. So I can assign more seams to this to get more. Mark seam, and let's see how it is. It will be more calmer now. And I think what we can do is we can fit it inside a rectangular texture if we need to. But I think this is like stretching still. And why it is, yep, this one. So see, it can fit in half of the texture. So like if 2 3 4, and we just fit it in here. So I will rotate it, place it here. Okay, and scale it a little bit. This one we can have, we have space, and if you want we can split this also into two to fit it in the full place if you want to. And here this is cool. We don't need to place them close, we have space, but it's totally fine. Now we'll send it. Let's just try without loading and say okay. Yep. You see, this is basically, this happens when you have, see, in low poly we have normals. If we have hypernormal over a tangent space, it is good. I think in, let's see if this changes, because this type of thing is basically average normal, which we can change from average normal to, let's see if we try this, because it's totally coming from this normal settings basically. And I saw this happening also. This texture is we don't want, and we'll try with the here smooth normal also. We'll try if it does not have, yeah. So let me just on low definition also, let's try. See, so it just help us. So now we can bake larger map. Let's go with 2K. We can go 4K also, it's all up to us. but it's gonna take time. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do 2K only. And edge padding and bucket size and anti-aliasing you can raise also. So now we just okay, yes, here. Okay, so it is rendered. But what we want, we have these base text. We don't have embed occlusion. You can, you know, have curvature. You can see what all the things do in there. If have a vertex color, you can use that. And let's say direction map and cavity thickness. Let's try convex ray and I don't know what bend normal map is. Let's have it. So when you have all of them, and you can just let's do 4K and just say generate maps. You say yes. So it's gonna bake all the maps. This is height, I think. It's gonna open up the tone mapper. So we just say okay. Yeah, so you can do minimum, last and end. Basically, it's all up to you. Yes. Yeah, so how much displacement basically needed. You close it and you're gonna tone map it, and then the AO. We could have changed the bucket size from here to these are like the small, like every thread is working on small. Sometimes it take more to calculate the each area of the thing, but it would have been nice to change that. So like let's stop it. So because these two are already done, let's change the bucket size to 256. Now it's a generate map. See, now we have larger buckets. So now each thread is working on that area. It's gonna take a lot more time for the each block, but there will be like you have to find this balance between like how big of these clusters you want. Some maps it might be slow, some map it might be fast. So you can do the testings which one works, you see. So otherwise these tiny blocks gonna keep going through each and one, so it might take a lot of time sometimes. I really love these I remember in V-Ray you can change these rendering patterns, how it renders the corner to corner, outside to inward, inward to outside, like in one scan line, like basically line by line, horizontal, vertical. Basically, I used to love this. I think others one will be rendered quickly compared to this one. This I think this is the directional world normal. So it might not help that much. We'll see. We are also rendering 4K, so let's see if someone is there. If I see any message, okay, no, oh, it's okay. I think after this there will be convexity and thickness, so it will be quicker. If it in, we can reduce the bucket size to smaller one. Yeah, so other one are much quicker. This is proximity. I'll stop it, and I'm going to I'll turn off. We have the thickness. I'll reduce the bucket size to 64. So we see things happening. Maybe it will be faster, maybe. But at least we'll see things moving. Yeah, like I'm intentionally in. So I'm recording this because I'm recording the I will fast forward it. So I'm recording it basically to have all these different maps in the recording. So it will be fast forward in there. Now there will be cavity. Cavity is like AO but more crisp. It work rendering box by box. So it will go to the left quarter, then it move up, work, then it go by the bottom box, this box, this box, this box, this box, this box, this box, like that. Work box by box. We're gonna blend all these different maps and see what type of information we have in there, and then what type of things we require. Then direction map, I don't know if it's like a world normal map, if it's a different thing, we will see. We're almost there. After that, we will check how it is in the cloud code, and then we'll try to install that script. Well, another height map top mapper. Okay, let it open. That's a lot of time. I will stop it. Okay, so let's see what is happening with the cloud. Okay, here, so it viewed 3 files, created this one 1000 line of code. Okay, and what we can do is we can download this, and I can just give me a second. I can open this X normal. This file came in, so what I will author is and I'll put my name. Why not 4.5, and rest I will keep everything in the same. Save it, and let's try installing it. Move, save it, close it. I will move this to desktop, and I think this one is gone, so let's leave it here. Uninstall this. So installed, and there's path to X normal, which in here. I don't know, do we have to put x normal exe next to it? I will keep it anyway here. Now where does it come? In object data. Let's see. Inside I will open the script in script again. Okay, and category render. So does it come under render? Yeah, here. Cool. So we can select. Imagine I selected the low poly and it have, I will say okay. Okay, it have error, export high, and then it does all, it did open up. Okay, and then we can just simply export with X normal. So yeah, so we need to put X normal exe. So now if I say bake with X normal, so it say yeah, X normal is already running. So at least this one button is working. It run the things. We need to have is export low, export high. It's not working, so we can have this as another, but it put my name in here. So we can change all the things in here, and we can put a default path also like this one. But C, I install things in D, but this can be in the C also. And yeah, so this is cool that it works. So we need to do, maybe we can put it in here, but it's fine to have it here as well in the rendering. So in the normal map scale, if we can get the tick mark for basically create this thing, so we'll get all the maps which we need here, and we tick in, and then we just say okay, do it. Yeah, so now we are, if I get to the layout and I would turn on the high poly and come in here, this is, let's call it honey plant. We'll see what all the maps we have, and we're gonna import it. Okay, and in the shading we have this. Oh, we already had some textures right here, so we say link materials. Okay, and this one just keep one. Cool. Now we have the maps we have baked, and I can turn this off to it got stuck there. Why I needed this is let it open. So we will have high poly, low poly, did not save it, should had. Okay, so I wanted to have base texture, but it don't have any base texture. You can, let's see if it bake it, and what I don't want is padding. And if I say 4K by 4K, and if I put it in same folder, let's see what it generates. So yeah, so this is gonna generate this and without any texture, which is nice. So we can bring this in and we can use this as alpha. See, in the render we find, see, we got the alpha basically, and I'm gonna bring normal, we call it normal map. And let's bring in normal, and let me see, it looked like OpenGL only, so I was not sure which one we have picked. So let's go here, it's non-color. There's a lot of noise. Is it okay? So it's deterred, and we can have blend maybe. Yep, that's much better. And we can say color ramp. I think because there is something wrong with the opacity. Maybe I can say non-color. I think it is not exact value, but let's go with this for now. If we can remove it also to just see how it look. Yeah, so normal map on this looks fine. Let's see what other maps we have. So first of all, we have occlusion. So if I just put it into colors, let's see, it will add more details in there. Let's bring in cavity and see how that is. Let's see this, and what if I take this and multiply? So we have few, and if I assign again alpha, you will see on the leaf we get much better thing. And I think it's in the material, there should be, isn't there any cutout setting? Okay, so that fixed something. Yeah, that looks much better. So we have, it's baked. Now let's see, cavity we have already. Bend normal will not help. Let's see what proximity is. Convexity, I think it's the edge of the leaf. Yeah, it will be greenish. Yeah, so this is the greenish, and we need to have it, imagine, multiply it with the things. So I say, let's see, does it add anything or not? See, it add more that bendiness on the corner. which is was there here. See, it's adding that depth into it. What else we have? We have height. So you want to see the height. This is how it is. Let's try to, we can add displacement also in this, but it's not required. There is, it's ugly, so it might be, I think the faces were not smooth also. Let's see from which one it is coming. Yeah, I think it's all the maps. Yeah, yeah, basically all the maps have facets. This thing I think it came from geometry. Yeah, but it's okay, we'll just continue. We need to smooth out the geometry basically to not get it. So they're like the high poly we exported, I think, have facets, so which we should have considered. Now here is the proximity. This is how it look. Might not work for us. Thickness, nothing much drill, and then baked one we have seen already. So we have this much only. So we didn't have curvature, no? We had curvature, but it, let's see if we had curvature, but we don't have it in the baked maps. So imagine I say, okay, I take curvature, put this, it is there. No. Let's see if we get that. So we didn't have curvature, I think. Just now we have it. Okay, cool. Here we have our curvature. So now this, what we can do is, we can say separate color. And we plug this in, and we can put one by one. Like this is how red channel look like, some edges. And this is the green channel, some without that. Blue is also something. And let me check the high poly, just disappointing. I think we have the smooth normal, we should have used smooth normal. We used average in the high poly, so I think it destroyed the thing. So in high poly, exported normals are fine. Maybe low poly we just needed to change average normal. And now if we go to baking options and see normal map, and rest everything is same, we say generate map. Okay, Yep. So we can rule reload the image. See, it's much better now. And we need to change the maps from we can do bake. So I will just bake AO and other we don't need. So I will just bake these two map AO and cavity. Maybe curvature we don't need because it's not good. So yeah, just embed occlusion is fine, and I don't think there is other occlusion is here. Cavity is here. Cavity we can take. This is height. Yeah, we can make. So height, cavity, curvature, and everything did not. And what we can do, we can change the. Let's take curvature and convexity. And in the tools, we say ray distance rule, and we say go. And yes, and then we just let it. And we just so it is good overall. Is it happening much faster this time? And there is some green here also because I think it's the bend basically. It surely is fast. It's for much faster now. Weird. Look at that. Point. And what if I remove the normal map? How much it holds, I want to see. Was good without normal map also. let's add on top of white to control this. Yeah. So yeah, this is good. We have some stuff in there and some details we have without the normal map. Also we can see how much it holds. Yeah, see, and I can increase the AO to see how much impact it add. So we have it here. So now we will just texture the things with the tablet. Last time I was texturing it, I didn't have the setup for the drivers for the pen tag. Now I have, so I will show you simply. And I don't have, still don't have that much practice with texturing it, but we'll roughly try to get the colors, basic colors in there, and then we'll make the formation. So just want to have the basic colors in there for the plant, and rest I just want to form the main part. So I'm going to select these two. We could have taken the textures. Should we? I can. We can take this and we can bake it, but let's just not make our life more miserable. Okay, so what we're gonna do is gonna put simple textures on the things, and then we simply gonna move on. So if I go back to shading, we have it here. I'm gonna take another multiply, add it here, maybe, and image texture, keep it here. I'm gonna new, I'll call it texture, and 4096. Color, we can make it something green, brighter, less saturated, and we call it plant painted texture. Okay, and we put this in here. Now everything will become green, basically. You'll see. Okay, and then we come back to layout here. You see, now we have everything green, and now we're going to paint on this texture. Okay. Oh, I don't have, I think, the middle click setup. So just give me, so in the pen, I have it set up to middle click. Then why it is? For some reason my shift right click is, now it is there. Yeah. Better. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna quickly texture it. So we can simply select all of these and we can say texture paint. Okay. And overall this is fine. We can take any, I can sample color from here and bring it in here also, but we have size, strength I want to control with this, you'll see. And I want soft brush. Look at this. Okay. And now just there's a little bit of alpha is there, so that can go away. And let me do brownish. So there is some setting to, I think it, there, where is the backface color include, I think. So now it will go. There is something is. Let's see, in the there was, I remember there was a setting to not affect the background, but this is, it's okay. We just paint. When we can have blur. Blur just screams for some reason. Do we have smudge? Smear. Okay, so yeah, so this basically we have a tiny green tip and paint, and I think we can have take this, and I think do we have fill, should copy the color. Isn't there a way to copy the color? It should keep it. That's the weird thing. Okay. And just take some yellow. And in shading, I will, to get And if want to see what I'm trying to do, if I want to, basically in the center part, I'm just doing a little bit of different color. We're gonna do this with the leaves also, so we get different variation. So we've got some faces. How to pick color? I don't know yet. So let's just have nothing X to swap it. I'm just doing the all the shapes and this. And also we can, in here you can have diffuse color or diffuse light. It should basically it's weird. So what if I go this way and it's weird. But we can turn off the shading or we can put it into emission. Basically that's what I was testing. So we have this, like you can go more into detail, like if you want to make, or I will just go, let's make a darker one, and I make take the hard brush, or you can just see how much. I think see what you can't you make. Basically what this what it should stay. And I can reduce. We're gonna do the fine tuning, like the edge highlights and everything also. Okay, we did not turn on the okay, so that we don't have any more. We should have had this turn on. Good. So I have made these hexagonal face here with it's totally fine. This one was stretching, I knew, but I let it. No, we are almost. You can do it perfectly if you want to. I will leave it even though it is. Okay, and okay, simple. And take the smear and blend the color in basically. So let me turn off the wireframe. So you see this looks much better. But you know what was, and later on what we can do is if I just take a whitish yellow, this color should stay. It's just bugging me basically. Yeah. Now I can simply highlight these edges basically. So with the larger one first, I can do with the larger one. The size also change with the thing. Okay, turn on the wireframe so I know where are. Okay, I have bad strokes. Basically, just the shapes of honeycomb trying to highlight. Okay, so this is first one pass for basically the shape, basically, right? It's not matching what we can, you know, blend. I can take the softer brush, can blend these details together if it is too obvious. But mainly what my other idea was to basically add smaller highlight. Let's reduce it and, you know, add on top of these honeycomb also. I'm not doing it precisely because I did not make the honeycombs also not precisely, but you'll see this. I'm gonna add this thing, and if I swap, and I'm gonna do this shadow type of thing on the other side. See, you're gonna start to look like, you know, much better when hand painted. So we have to do it like throughout the thing. So the similar thing we're gonna do on the leaf, honestly. So the one thing we know, if I talk about leaf, I come here and I select this and I go paint texture. One thing we know, it have a brighter center, and stem might also have the similar color. So I first sort that out, give it the different color, just, and we already have a cavity which we can use to drive our stem. And once it's done on this side, maybe I'll do it on the smaller one, it will be much quicker. But anyway, we have to do it, and then we do the, it would have better if I would have done the vertex paint and then bake it inside, bake it on top of the low poly, and then fix the things. I did practice it, but I lost the file. I don't know where I saved it. I practiced it on the vertex paint. I still new to the hand painted stuff, as I wanted to do it, so I thought like this will be the perfect opportunity to do it with. Let me see if anyone commented on anything. Oh, so Dhruv is there. Not here. Okay. Is, I think is the old chat. Let me see if anyone is in the chat. Okay. Oh, people came and go, basically. Nice. Okay, so what we are doing, we are making that thing. It's not perfect. but I'm not trying to make it perfect. And yeah, so this is the one, and we have this, we should have added much saturated color for the leaves, honestly, which I can do now. Yeah. Then we would add you know the thing, but it's okay. So I'm gonna just quickly gonna do in between the gap. I can do more saturation, and I'm gonna go more darker one. I'm gonna do at the base. And I'm gonna do a bit brighter version of it, but a saturated version on top. Yes. Okay, so then after this, like basically, we can rework on those. We can make it valuation. We can make it full bright, and then we can make it smaller. Repop them a little bit where it's needed to be. Okay, so yeah, so this is basically we have rough in there, and what we can do is make a depth type of thing. So I will take a type of green and bit darker. Okay, we have hard from the start, so that's, and I hate it, don't save the color. And we have a bit darker, a base, and in the center, and this we have yellow. Strength, let's reduce it. Tip and the outside I want a bit gradient we have, overall in the shape, from distance you can tell. And yeah, it's looking much better. I can bring back something from the center here. So you see we have this painterly effect still in here, and some places where we were using this, and we can just smear the thing where we have these hard strokes visible. Yeah, so this is looking much better, and I will and we have I will do one more pass, and for the brightness and use the let's keep the you see we will add if we use the AO, it's gonna be, we can do it and we can paint it also, that AO part. I'll just show you in a minute. Cool. So what we can do is basically create same thing. We can create a highlight and basically a darker part in between here, mix of yellow and this thing, and I'll put highlight on top part like this. Like we can, you can pick one side, like I say, okay, here I put here, and this side I put, and I put here. Let's just go and I put here. And I have just making the highlighted part on the top of the leaf. That's why I was telling, like in the smaller leaf would have been less work. And so basically I'm putting fake light in there. I know my painting is choppy, so I know I'm just showcasing something, so I'm just doing it quickly. Okay, and now I switch. Go tiny, and I do basically all behind the stems. And here I can just do here a little bit. Not throughout, just a little bit, because I'm imagining a light from one side. And you'll see you got some depth. And similarly we can make, if I make the strength a little bit less and make it bigger, I can do same thing with each of these middle parts which are like bulging. So I'll do all of them here little bit, and the same here. Okay. And then I will switch and then do the same thing for the upper part. I'm just doing here, not everywhere. I can reduce it more to 0.1. Okay, and we can make it slightly more. You see, we got basically highlight in there. So we have depth and leaf, and then overall it look good. And I can go to material, and we can make roughness full. It will look much better. So yeah, so this is here, and we could have done this together with that leaf, but I think we can do that leaf and we need to do a little bit differently, so that's totally fine. Can do that. And yeah, then we can basically combine this. I can just take it out from here and just plug it other places. And then I did not make the flower, it's not needed honestly. So yeah, so I think it's good. I will continue this tomorrow. Let me save it. I'll continue it from here tomorrow, and we'll see that how that works basically. So yeah, and I hope you guys learned something new from it, and there was something you could see or learn from it. And but I wanted to work on bunch of stuff, and yeah, this is nice. What we came from. So I want to finish this. This is like part one of tutorial. I think the tomorrow we'll finish this off, and yeah, so that will be the next part of the tutorial which we have coming in there. And yeah, it's all good. Thank you very much for joining in today. If you're watching, if you're not, I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye.